Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark, and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories. And if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. Our first story comes from the Am I Wrong subreddit from No Process 1558, and it says, "Am I wrong for punching my stepfather after he opened and drank a bottle of scotch my dad got me to share on my 21st birthday? My father passed away 8 years ago. Mum remarried 5 years ago. I will admit I never tried to blend with him or my step-siblings. I was happy for my mum, but to be honest, would have preferred had it remained just the two of us. I am 19. I live at home since I'm going to college locally. My father had a bottle of scotch he bought when I was born. It was kept in a cabinet down in our basement. It was my dad's area. I do not know why I never moved it. I figured it would be safe and not touched, and for many years it was. I don't know why he felt the need to open it, but he did. I admit I lost my cool and I did punch him, but he has never touched anything down on that side of the basement. Yet he suddenly forgets and goes for the one he knew meant everything to me. My mum is upset because he did call the police, and it appears he wants to put a restraining order against me. Cops took the report, asked me some questions and left it at that. This happened around 5 hours ago. Here to vent and maybe have my eyes opened. My mum wants me to apologize, but I don't feel bad. It actually felt good, like I got some level of control. He was not a bad guy per se, I guess, but he also always tried so hard, and after my siblings were born, I was pretty much forgotten. Raising twins is not easy, and with me being so close to 18 when they were born, I guess they figured I was okay. Maybe I am just being a little arsehole. I don't know. Edit, they are my half-siblings, not step. Sorry." So a commenter says to OP, "You're not wrong, but context matters between it being an honest mistake or a deliberate act. Did he know the significance of the bottle, and was it kept in a special location? I once did something similar on accident because I didn't know." OP says he claims he did not know, but he has not touched anything in that corner ever, and he has lived with us for years. He knows how important that corner is to me. Commenter says, "Did he do it knowingly, or did he not know it was given to you by your father?" OP says he may not have known that particular bottle had importance, but has never touched anything in that corner of the basement because he knows that it is my father's corner. He has never touched anything in that corner for years. Why did he suddenly feel the urge to touch and open stuff now? He could have bought his own booze. My mum and him claim it was an honest mistake. I'm having a hard time believing that. Go years without touching, but suddenly want to touch and drink stuff?" Commenter says, "Violence isn't the answer. That being said, everyone who's asking if they knew your dad gave that to you, it doesn't matter. The scotch was in the basement, untouched and quite obviously not his. He knew he didn't buy it. He knew he didn't put it there. For whatever reason, he felt entitled to something that was not his. If he's been around for 5 years, I'm also sure he knew about the meaning behind the bottle." OP responded saying, "This is what gets me when mum and him claim it was an honest mistake. He knows how much that corner means to me. Why not just buy some alcohol or something? Why purposely go through my dad's stuff? I don't drink, but doubt stuff sitting there around for 19 years tastes all that great either." Commenter says, "You're not wrong. That was a hurtful thing to do by your stepdad, although you did react in the moment in a way that was not great. Him calling the police and demanding a restraining order is completely over the top. Where is your mum in all this? He's taken something that was precious to you in tragic circumstances, a consequence of which he's got his bell rung. Everyone needs to use their words now in a calm and respectful manner. Your mum needs to step up /in and mediate this. Stepdad needs to be made to understand what is and isn't appropriate when it comes to items your dad left behind and respectful of your feelings about him. You need to apologize for putting hands on him, but you were not wrong for having strong feelings about him ruining a treasured memento." OP says, "My mum wants me to apologize. She is on his side. She claims it was an honest mistake. I don't buy that because he's never touched my dad's stuff in that corner of the basement. He had no reason to touch anything in that corner." Commenter says, "He wants you out of his life. Yes, he did it on purpose. You have anywhere to stay on your dad's side of the family. Also, if I were you, I would double check the will that he left, because if he left you half of the house, then he needs to move out and not you." OP responds saying, "Not where I'm going to school. I go to Texas A&M. My dad's side of the family is from New York." For me in this, obviously I don't know, but it didn't feel like an honest mistake to me, because 5 years is a long time to know that one corner of the basement was off limits and full of OP's father's belongings. If he genuinely didn't know the specific bottle was meant for OP's 21st birthday, it's hard to believe that he suddenly wandered over there, picked out the sealed bottle that wasn't his, and opened it without realizing he was going through someone else's keepsakes. He must have known that corner was full of OP's treasured items, OP's father's things. Violence wasn't going to solve anything in the moment, but I don't blame OP for their reaction at the same time. But what also jumped out to me is what one of the commenters pointed out as how quickly stepfather involved the police and started talking about restraining orders. If this was genuinely just a misunderstanding, you'd expect someone who's been in OP's life for 5 years to recognize that he'd destroyed something that was deeply sentimental to him and try to maybe de-escalate the situation. I kind of felt like going straight to law enforcement, it made it feel less like he wanted an apology or anything and more like he wanted some kind of leverage, if you like. Or, as the other commenter pointed out, just wanted OP out the house altogether, which wouldn't be surprising either. But within the same post, OP comes in with their first update and says, "My stepfather is going through the process for the order. Mum says she has taken him to the notary. She asked me to apologize so we can smooth things over. I told her I would only apologize if he could tell me why, after all these years, he decided to go touch and drink an entire bottle of Scotch in a single sitting. My dad was a drinker, and even he did not do that. My mum said I have no right to make demands of him. It seems some think it was just forgotten about. It was not. I turned a small corner of our basement many years ago into my dad's spot. I have his urn with other odds and ends like his sports memorabilia, favourite drinking glass, his shot glass collection, and his liquor cabinet, with his chair that was in the living room. Now, did he know the significance of said bottle? Maybe not. I don't talk to him much. Mum 100% knew. Thing is, that should not have mattered. He knew the significance of the corner. Why was he touching anything in said corner is beyond me. Also, this bottle was in a neat wooden box. I don't drink. If you are looking to drink, do you honestly go for the one in the box? Or would you go for the unopened ones? I will look into the value. I know the name was Macallan Sherry Oak 30. Jumping in here, I just bloody looked at the prices. And I'm no expert here, but I can see prices from £3,000 up to £27,000. 3 or 27. That's a lot of money. OP continues, "This was the first time I ever threw a punch before. Never been in a fight before. I don't think I have anger issues. I just lost it because my dad has slowly been forgotten. Mum used to wear his and her wedding bands as a necklace, but about 3 years ago, she stopped. We used to go out and get Bluebell ice cream together. We stopped doing that after the twins were born. Pretty much everything changed after the twins were born. I lost my cool because it felt like another piece of my dad was cast aside. She's even let my stepfather have his Restore Super Sport, which technically was supposed to be mine, but because my dad had a standard will, he left everything to my mum. I reached out to my uncle, and he's going to fly down on Monday so we can all sit down and talk. As it stands, it seems like he's going forth with the order. My uncle does not think he'll be able to get an emergency order for this situation, so he hopes on Monday we can come to some agreement." So OP does come in with a further update and says thanks for all the feedback and updates as promised. My uncle and I spoke with my mum and stepfather. First, my uncle called bullshit on my stepfather and said he had been drinking it over time. He did ask what his endgame is. Refill it with something cheaper. My stepfather did not say anything. He also told my mum off. He said my stepfather may have an excuse, albeit a shitty one, but still an excuse. He told her that she had no excuse. She knew what my dad's intentions were for the bottle and for the car. He said he told my brother he should just list what he wanted me to have in the will, but told her he said it would be fine because he trusted my mum with his life. He also questioned why I was paying for school, and apparently my father had a sizable life insurance policy, which I was unaware of, but also tracks because my mum has never actually gone to work. Either way, I probably don't have much claim to that either. At that point, I simply asked for my dad's car and the key to his storage unit. She and my stepfather can keep everything else. So that was the conversation. It was pretty much my uncle going at them and them just listening. My uncle asked me again to move in with him and suggested I take a semester off or a year and travel with him. He said he would help me with school. Told me some stories. It seems my mum and dad's side of the family did not get along, which is why we moved to Texas, where my mum is from. Either way, I'm okay with everything. Oddly enough, I do not hate or even feel angry with my mum. Just numb, I guess. I hope with time maybe we can fix that, but for now going to avoid contact with her and them altogether. Staying with my uncle at a hotel and we will start packing. He's going to have the car transported to New York. I lost the booze, but I did get back the car, which is better anyways if I'm being honest. My uncle said not to worry about the order of protection if he gets one. If push comes to shove, he will hire an attorney for me. So yeah, not a bad outcome. I wish I knew why, but yeah, still don't know why he drank it. The update just made me even more suspicious when he was called out that the stepfather just had no response at all, was just telling for me. If it was an innocent mistake of some sort, you drank this whiskey somehow by mistake, you'd be devastated for the person who you've lived with and you're meant to respect and love. You'd be devastated and say, I'm so sorry I did that. You know, something along those lines, just an apology, just a simple apology, something. But for me, the silence just pretty much said it all. And the uncle pointed out that OP's mum knew exactly what OP's father wanted for the bottle and the car. Makes her look just as responsible in my opinion. And then out popped about their whole life insurance policy and the fact that OP had been paying for college while his mother apparently never worked. It just raises even more questions. And it's one of those stories where I can imagine the mum, there's going to be a distance created between OP and the mum's going to be all shocked Pikachu face when that day eventually comes and OP steps away. And I don't know how certain there's all sorts of life insurance policies, but if the life insurance policy was to cover OP's education, I hope he does chase that up because surely that's what his father would have wanted. But I hope OP does go on and enjoys that travel with his uncle. I'm so glad that he's got someone like his uncle in his corner at this moment in time. A commenter said to OP, so glad you have your uncle. Hope your mum feels horrible. She put a man and a new family before her own son and your father's wishes. Maybe this will wake her up and she can see what a horrible mother she has been to you. Again, so happy your uncle had your back and called them out. Opie says my uncle was going to try and be a peacekeeper, but after I told him I was paying for school, he was beyond upset. He told me beforehand not to worry about anything. Let them have it outside the car in a storage unit. Everything else can be replaced. Commenter says, I'm glad you have your uncle. It sounds like the best possible outcome at this point, and I'm glad he swooped in like he did to read them the riot act. Still not what you deserve. You deserve a mum who doesn't prioritize some dick over a child. Thank you for updating though. Strange to say, I was worried about you. I lost my dad at 12. It's hard. Wishing you truly all the best. Edit to add, I'm not saying you're a child age-wise, in case that wasn't clear. Just that she is supposed to put you first. Opie responded saying thanks, I do appreciate it. Yeah, losing a parent at any age is rough. I was 6 when my grandpa passed, and remember, that was the only time I ever saw my dad cry. It hit him hard, which is also why I'm so glad I got the car back. My uncle told me my grandpa had the same car. Someone said what kind of car was it? Opie says a 1969 Camaro SS. Commenter says, is your uncle based in New York City? Anywhere in the 5 boroughs or even Long Island? I asked because if you move in with him, even on paper, by having some mail sent to his address, you could get New York residency and qualify for in-state tuition at a CUNY school, which is pretty much the best affordable, genuinely education you can get in this country. They also make the transfer process really easy. So if paying for school is a concern, that might be a pathway that doesn't hurt you or your uncle too badly. Opie says he lives in Rochester, but he said he would help me get an apartment if I want to be closer to the city. I will keep this in mind. Again, just so thankful that OP has got an uncle like that on its side. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Now our next story comes from Playful Magician 831 from the Am I the Arsehole Here subreddit, and it says, Am I the arsehole for telling my girlfriend I'm tired of chasing her after 6 years together? My girlfriend, 30 female, and I, 31 male, have been together for 6 years. I've been planning to propose soon, but I've been struggling with issues I brought up since day one of our relationship that haven't changed. The main issue, I feel like I'm constantly chasing her for attention and affection, especially in social settings. When we're in groups with her family or friends, she won't come to me. I always have to go to her. She won't initiate conversation with me unless I speak first, and even then just gives me short answers without asking me anything back. When I suggest things, she'll say no, but when someone else suggests the exact same thing, she'll do it. What makes this harder is that she's bubbly and engaging with other people, but cold towards me. It's like she saves all her warmth for everyone else. I feel she always prioritizes her convenience instead of our relationship. Some examples of what I mean. 1. We usually meet closer to her place. 2 hours commute for me. Even for my birthday celebration, we plan each other's birthday. She still wanted me to travel to her area rather than meeting somewhere more convenient for me. At social gatherings with her family, she'll leave me alone without saying anything. Even though I don't know her family well, I was expecting her to include me or at least stay with me or just check in from time to time if I'm alright. When our relationship was struggling and was about to break up, I suggested couples therapy, which I offered to pay for. Her first concern was that the location was inconvenient for her. I've raised these issues repeatedly over 6 years, but nothing has changed. Recently, I sent her a message saying that after 6 years together, I don't want to feel like I'm still chasing her or courting her, and that I'm not going to pursue her all the time anymore. Her response was just a question mark and then silence. It's been over a day, and she hasn't messaged me. Historically, I've always been the one to reach out first and apologize, even when I'm the one who's hurt. I decided not to respond to the question mark because I felt like that would just be chasing her again, but now I'm second guessing myself. Was I too confrontational? She's never been in a relationship before, so maybe she doesn't understand what she's doing. Am I the arsehole? In the same post, Opie said, "Thank you guys for all the advice. I'm now starting to see how dumb I am for not considering to end this sooner. I will not message her and will give an update if she ever reaches out." Also an info I wanted to add. I lost my father 2 years ago and I've been struggling with depression. I guess part of the reason I put up with this is that I really didn't want to lose another important person in my life. This is mostly in social settings, but it's fine when it's only the two of us. We were happy the past years, though yes, she indeed has selfish tendencies sometimes, and I'm at my limit about the issue, I guess. And let me clarify the dynamics with her family. The main thing is that I'm still sort of the outsider and she's much closer to them compared to me because I only see them a couple of times a year. I actually sometimes feel much more comfortable conversing with her family than her because they would ask me questions to extend the conversation. I actually got super close with her 2 male cousins instantly because I found out we share some hobbies in gaming and anime. But even with this, is it not fair for me to expect her to come to me from time to time and me not chasing her around all day? Or is it too much overthinking? Small update. I couldn't help myself. After she ignored my vulnerable message for 2 days, I reached out again last night with messages explaining how hurt I was by her dismissiveness and asked if she wanted to meet up. I also told her I think we have an anxious avoidant attachment dynamic and sent her videos and detailed explanations about it, hoping she'd finally understand where I'm coming from and maybe even give us a starting point on how we can fix the relationship. Her response? She completely ignored everything I said and just told me, "I'm going to the insert mall we usually meet at. Anyway, you can come if you want." So even after pouring my heart out about feeling dismissed and invisible, she dismissed me and made me feel invisible again. It really hurts. OP came in with what was titled a final update, but it's not. And oh boy. It says, "We're engaged. I know 99% of you told me to break up with her. Honestly, I don't blame you based on what I shared. Some of you will probably be disappointed reading this, but just hear me out. During the meetup after the small update, we had the most honest conversation we've ever had in 6 years. She was open and acknowledged that she might have a dismissive avoidant attachment style stemming from past trauma. I was actually the one who brought it up and shared resources about it, and it just clicked for her. Something she had never really considered before, but it was dead on. We're committing to couples therapy together, and she's also open to individual therapy for herself. And yes, I proposed and she said yes, because even through all of this, I realized I can't imagine living my life with anyone else. Even in moments like these, I still choose her, and that I really love her so much. I'm going in with clear eyes though. I keep communicating my needs and I'm hopeful that with the work we're both putting in, we can finally break the cycle we're stuck in. Thanks for the advice either way. It genuinely helped me have that conversation." Now, for me, I don't think this is going to end well. That jump from basically we're on the verge of breaking up to we're engaged really quickly, it almost gave me whiplash because the biggest issue, again for me, wasn't this avoidant attachment or whatever it was. It was that for 6 years, he's repeatedly communicated the exact same problem and nothing changed. Then when he finally reached his breaking point, she still responded to what was this heartfelt message with question marks and later, "I'm going to the mall anyway, you can come if you want." That's not someone who's showing any kind of understanding about what's going on here. And it felt a bit like, and I'm not trying to downplay attachment styles and past trauma because they are very real and therapy can absolutely help, but I almost felt like he almost handed her an explanation that fit the situation that was going on. You know, instead of her recognizing the issue and seeking help after years of him being unhappy, he'd done the research, he sent her videos, he explained the theory, and then she just took it on board, which is a good thing in the end, I guess, but that doesn't mean the change is going to follow. So I was kind of left with couples therapy for before getting married, absolutely great. Individual therapy, fantastic. But getting engaged before you've actually seen any of those changes stick, it doesn't feel good for me, I gotta say. A commenter says to OP, not the arsehole. I'm shocked you can keep this up for 6 years. No judgment. I think plenty of people do stuff like this, and it's human to love someone and want to make it work. I'm almost always single because I give feeling unseen and unwanted in a relationship 1 year tops. Usually less than half of that, lol. It could be that you have different approaches to things or some other kind of explanation like she's masking with other people, bubbly, but feels comfortable enough with you to be herself. If you have continuously brought things like this up for 6 years and she responds with distance and she hasn't been open to counseling, oh my gosh, do not get married. Opie says, I really love her and wanted this to work so badly, but I'm really tired right now, I guess. There's always a limit to everything. Adept says, not the arsehole. You told her what you wanted and needed in your relationship and a juvenile response was a question mark. Wow. The only serious thing about this stunted, selfish woman is that she is seriously an arsehole. Reread what you wrote here. Would you advise a friend to stay in a relationship like this? I don't think so. Be a friend to yourself and end this one-sided relationship for yourself now. Trust that she already has. Move on, OP, and work on your self-esteem. OP says, yeah, I was really taken aback from her response or lack thereof. I expected her to at least make me clarify or talk about it more, even if she doesn't agree with what I said. But OP came back into the post 7 months later and says, I posted this around 6 months ago before I was really contemplating whether to still give the relationship a chance and whether to propose. This is the link to the original post and shares the link. I stupidly ignored all of your advice and went on with the proposal, being hopeful of the self-awareness my girlfriend showed during our heart-to-heart talk after. I realize now that this was a mistake. It's really not a good idea to love someone's potential instead of who they are currently. What happened after is that she never made any concrete steps about the therapy she promised and just went back into her avoidant tendencies, ignoring my needs. Even with all that, I was still willing to push through with it actually. That, I admit, was stupid in my part. The last straw for me happened just last Sunday, when we were on a pre-wedding tradition in our country where the families of the couples would meet up and bond and where the couples would proclaim their love for one another. She said in this event that she doesn't need a man to be complete and that I'm just a nice bonus for her. Also that she's the type of person not to feel butterflies in her stomach or excitement in the relationship, but she appreciates my consistency. Worst part is, she never said she loved me in this event, not even once. I understand that being independent is good, but it's not the right time and place for this, when it's supposedly the day we should show our love for one another in front of our families. I felt really unwanted during that moment and I felt invalidated again for all my efforts and sacrifices. I talked with her earlier today about the hurts and she invalidated me again. That's when I decided to stand my ground and choose myself this time. At the end, she handed me back the ring and we broke up. Stupid not to end this sooner, but I've found respect for myself after neglecting my needs for far too much. In the end, I was indeed the arsehole to both of us for dragging this on for far too long. Thank you for all the advice. I hope we both heal from this in the future. TLDR, ignored all Reddit advice. Still went on with the engagement. Promises were broken and after the last straw of invalidation, finally broke up. Commenter says, I'm so sorry you had to experience that much emotional pain. I was once in a relationship where I was the only one giving love and never really got any back. After we broke up, I kept wondering why I'd held on for so long. Someone once told me, there is a point at which you have to choose to either let go or be dragged. I let go, and once I was over my heartbreak, my life became so much better. You have all my empathy, OP. OP replied saying yes, this was not an easy decision to make, especially when you still love the person. But I realized that I was clinging on to her potential rather than who she was at the moment. That was a big mistake. Commenter says, man, ignoring the advice and pushing through was rough, but learning from it is huge. The ring return and breakup sounds painful but necessary. You deserve better than feeling like a bonus. Proud of you for choosing you. Opie says, yeah, I really tried to push through with it, which was stupid in my part, but glad I had the courage to end things before getting married. Imagine turning round to your partner and just saying, you know, you are just a nice bonus for me. Bloody hell. And I'm totally with that commenter about ignoring the advice and pushing through was rough, but learning from it is absolutely huge at the same time. So good for Opie in that respect. Breaking up was clearly the right thing to do, probably from early on, but what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being here. Truly, it is absolutely amazing. And hopefully, I'm going to see you in the next one. Take care and much love.